Hello, in this video we're going to be talking about load releasing devices. A load releasing device is used anytime you need to transfer a load from one anchor to another in order to escape a belay, to pass a knot, or for a variety of other reasons. We're going to cover two, both using very similar methods but with slightly different equipment. The first, we're going to use climbing equipment. This is just a cord delay. Next we'll use rescue rated equipment and tie it slightly differently in order to use it for a rescue load. So, for the climbing one, I'm going to take my cord delay and tie a figure 8 on a bight in the end. This end is going to go to my load. I'm going to go ahead and clip a carabiner in it for the moment. Next, we're going to hook this rope to our anchor up here with what's called a munter hitch. The way you tie a munter hitch is you hold the rope in one hand, you make a loop, hold on to it, make another loop, and then place those face to face, and we'll clip that in. I want to make sure that it's oriented so that the loaded line is next to the spine of my carabiner and the brake line is next to the gate. Now, we want to cinch this up. I could pull this over and invert it, which is kind of neat to see munter hitches do that. But when it gets reloaded, it's going to extend my load a little bit out farther, and I don't necessarily want to do that. So the way to cinch these up is to pull on this part of the line here, and then pull it through later with the brake. So we've got that cinched up, and now we want to tie this off. The way we do that is with the mule hitch. So to tie a mule hitch, you make a loop with the brake line, then you pass the rest of the brake line around behind and through that loop, and cinch it up. Now this can actually be a little awkward without load on it, but you'll figure it out. Then we're going to take this extra brake line, this extra bight of brake line, and we're going to tie an overhand on a bight in it as a backup knot. So that's locked off. I'm going to clip a artificial load here. I've got a stand-in load, a duffel bag. I'll clip it in and show you how this operates. So right now we've got our load attached, it's tied off. If we want to release that load some distance, the first thing we do is we untie our overhand backup knot, and then we're going to pull our brake line through our mule hitch. And when we pull it through, we're going to pull it into the spot where the brake is on, which is down for this particular orientation of the munter hitch. So now my brake's on. I've got control over my brake line. I can release the load some distance. I can stop it and tie it off again with another mule hitch. And then don't forget to back that up with your overhand on a bight. So this is for rock climbing sized loads. What if we are in a rescue situation? The loads are much higher. We've got a patient, a litter attendant, possibly multiple litter attendants, and a lot of extra equipment. So we're going to start with a little bit heavier gear. I've got my rescue rated carabiner, and I've got an 8mm cord. This is a regular static cord. We're going to triple it up to make it stronger. We start with our figure 8 on a bight, clip that in, and this is going to go to our load side. We take another carabiner and clip it into our anchor and clip the line into it. We take the line back to our load side, clip it in here, and we come back up to our anchor. Right here is where we tie our munter hitch. Just like before, we make 2 loops, put them face to face, and we're going to clip that in. If you look really carefully, it's slightly harder to see because we've got this extra piece of rope coming up through the carabiner. But our munter hitch here has the loaded line, which is this piece, closer to the spine than our brake line, which is this piece, which is closest to the gate. So this one's tied properly. We'll cinch it up, and we want to shorten up our hitch here, our load releasing device. Typically they say we want to have this shorter than 10 centimeters to start with, from carabiner to carabiner. So we'll cinch that up. That looks like maybe 10 centimeters to me. And now we want to tie it off. We're going to use the same method to tie it off, which is the mule hitch. So we make a loop, We pass the brake line behind the loaded lines, we've got 3 again here, and through our loop. Cinch it up, and then tie our overhand on a bite. There we are. So this is what's known as a radium release hitch. It's a 3-to-1. There's 3 pieces of rope here that are all connected, and it reduces the load on our cord. It's a 3-to-1 with a munter hitch is essentially what it is. I'll show you how to operate it here, again with their same load. Now this is made for rescue loads, so my little duffel bag here isn't quite going to be heavy enough. I'll have to help it along. First we untie our backup knot, our overhand on a bite, and now we've got the brake in our hand. So we pull the extra slack through, and when we get to the end, we pull our brake into the braking position, which is straight down here. And now I'm going to have to pull down a little to help it out, but we can release our load. Now, we start with a 30-foot static line here. This is a 3-to-1, that means we can extend it up to about 10 feet minus the knots. So that's pretty good extension for a load releasing hitch. If we want to stop, all we have to do is put our mule hitch back in there. And as always, don't forget to back that up with your overhand on a bite. So, this is the radium release hitch. We also looked at a similar load releasing device using just climber's equipment without the 3-to-1. The 3-to-1 mechanical advantage is really what reduces the loads and makes the radium release hitch suitable for rescue loads. If you'd like to learn more about mechanical advantages or anchors, you can go to my website, sarmath.com, and hopefully you learned something here, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.